Okay, welcome back to Game 2 of the on-stream Amateur Open Tournament, Week 4, Day 1. This game is, sorry, I already forgot the name. Uh, TG Undecided versus Cats Fight Slow Motion Classic. Very mouthful there, but okay. Also, welcome to my new co-caster, Robert Clements.
Hey there, guys. I am Robert Clements. I go by Kawa. Glad to be here today to be casting with you guys. Looks like we got some action already. Got some bands going on. We got Kazakhs and Hecarim and Elise and Zed. How do you feel about that?
Elise and Zed, both very popular assassins as of late. Both have seen a little bit of nerfs recently, but still very powerful, very heavy single target damage. Both capable percent health damage as well, especially once Zed gets Blade of the Ruined King and they're able to just pop anyone with Deathmark in the active on the blade and just able to melt anyone. Kazakhs also in their assassin percent health. Hecarim we saw last game, very strong jungler, and Nunu, despite the nerfs, is still a very strong jungler in the 3.9 patch. Shen as well, a lot of global pressure out there that Catfight really just doesn't want to deal with.
Yeah, I agree. That last game, they had a lot of hard engage, so possibly they saw that, realized other people might be watching and want to definitely prevent that from happening to them. Thresh coming out, being that first pick for TG, very solid pick. Meanwhile, on purple side, that is Catfights. They have Jarvan and Draven now for their picks.
Yes. Both actually very strong in the laning phase. Despite the nerfs, Draven is still very heavy duelist, very strong with the spinning axis. As long as you can keep them going, you should be able to really outdamage anyone at the first early levels or so. Caitlyn actually does outrange him, so if that gets locked in, he might have a little bit of a hard time with that. It's one of the little bit harder lane matchups for a Draven. Likewise, Jarvan is one that likes to gank early a lot in the laning phase. Actually, Jarvan Krislov is the summoner name for him, so I'm not surprised at all of that lock-in.
Yeah. We also have a Zach again, though, so definitely looking like another hard engage, at least with one member of the TG Undecided now. So, I don't know. I mean, Jarvan, like you said, is a very strong laner. The ultimate can really turn team fights around or actually save people once it gets to the later parts of the game. Oh, and now Sona comes out. So, if Jarvan can get a nice hold on them and they don't have flashes available, that Sonar can come out, keep them trapped in there for even longer, get a lot of AoE damage going on.
Yeah, it looks like right now, and especially that Malphite gets locked in, it's a lot of AoE crowd control. They're looking for the Wombo combo team fight here for Catfights, and that is a teleport Malphite locked in. On the other side, TGU is looking for, I guess, picks, especially with the death sentence from a Thresh, and to some extent the E and ultimate combo out of Zac. It's just it can really catch anyone out as long as they're out of position.
Yeah, I agree. High rating, I have a feeling that won't be the real pick here.
Yeah, we've been a lot of troll hovers today, even in the first game. So tend not to talk about that, especially the Blitzcrank. Don't really expect that after the Thresh is locked in. We were actually talking of Karma earlier, but actually, yeah. I wouldn't be too surprised to see it locked in by this point. A Karma mid and a Pantheon top, but no, they're just messing with us.
Yep.
Back to the team fight here. I want to go back to Catfight's team fight comps are already building up here. I'm not too enthusiastic about the Draven with it though. Draven is one that can just single target people out, get the spinning axes, at least two going on one person, and with the likes of say an Infinity Edge or a Bloodthirster just to amplify that damage even farther. It's not really. It is strong, but it doesn't really synergize with the rest of his team right now. On the other hand, now we have a Diana and a Ken locked in. So they're trying to answer back with a little AoE of their own, especially with the Slicing Maelstrom. It can really, if, say, the likes of a Darvin ult gets thrown on top of the Kennen, it's kind of a counter-engage there. Not necessarily a disengage counter, but it still kind of might catch you out if you jump onto him.
Yeah, I mean, they have Zac is he's pretty AP. He's not really an AP champion. I mean, he does a lot of AP damage, but he kind of has a mixture there. Mostly AP though. Diana and Ken there, so they're pretty AP heavy. So they're going to rely on a lot on this Caitlyn, I feel like. So putting a lot of weight on her server. So if she can get a good carry on, she can be able to and be able to dodge the hard engage of Jarvan, Malphite, and whoever this last pick will be. I'm assuming it would probably be another some type of engaged champ here.
And it is a Lissandra, so you're definitely right about that. You made a good point though. That is mostly magic damage on TGU, so they're looking for almost to counter the Malphite, I would say. The Malphite is one that scales his damage with armor. So if you put magic damage against him, it's kind of a weakness to his more tankiness of the health and armor in there. Any armor he builds is really only countering Silver Ninja's Caitlyn. So it's not too effective against TGO's team comp. Meanwhile, they can lock them up though. That crowd control is still there. You have the Cataclysm, the Crescendo, Unstoppable Force, and Frozen Tomb. They can lock up anyone despite whatever their damage type is, magic or physical, and they can still kill them. Really, it looks like the only tanky one right now in that lineup is Fure's Zac. So as long as they're able to lock down a lot of people, they should be able to melt them pretty quickly. Until the likes of Zonia's Hourglass gets built on the Diana and the Kennen, and we actually even saw Zonia's on Zac last game. I don't think it ever got popped or maybe completed. I do know I saw the Seeker's Arm Guard in there. I don't think it actually got completed into a Zonia's, but it's something we have actually seen on Zac before. Jungle Zac, however, not quite as likely, but I wouldn't put it out of the picture.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it is Jungle Zac. But one thing I was looking, we have Diana, she can get out of Jarvan ult. We have Zac who can get out of Jarvan ult, and Caitlyn who can all get out of Jarvan ult. So they have 3 ways of getting out of that ultimate without popping a flash there. So that is going to be useful. But I just feel like the Wombo combo ability now coming from Catfights is going to be very strong. And with as squishy of a team that TG Undecided has gone with, it's going to be very hard for them to deal with.
Yeah, and especially if they can actually land that combo. They're really looking to, and now that I go back to it, Whirling Death is kind of, it's not exactly a great synergy, but the Draven ultimate can add a bit of damage in the area of effect that they really want it to. And they just have to land it. They have to look for good groups together on TGU, and TGU likewise has to try not to group together. They'll want to, of course, group together on the map, but they don't want to all be standing in the same spot, or else they will get dumped on, and they will get melted very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. Let's look at the AoE damage we have here. We have Thresh ultimate, Zac's ultimate. We have Caitlyn now, sure, Piltover Peacemaker. There we go. That has some AoE damage to add in there. Kenna has AoE. Diana has AoE. So it's just a bunch of AoE damage coming out of Blue Team. So they have the potential, if they can start royally rolling this at the early stages of the game, to counteract all that engage that they're going to be able to have of Catfights here.
Yeah, and despite all the AoE damage that TGU has, a lot of it is still single target damage. Lunar Rush, the auto attacks from Caitlyn, the Ace in the Hole, and the Death Sentence especially, all really dedicated to locking down single target. So if they can take out one big factor of the Wombo combo from Catfights, they should actually be able to counteract it if that's possible. And if they can get a pick.
Looking at summoners now, I just realized that TG, none of them have a teleport. With Malphite having that teleport, he's going to be able to do hard engages. He'll be able to teleport bottom, be able to teleport middle, wherever the word's going to be, and really put a lot of pressure into a lane. So let's say, top lane dragon spawns, they're going to be able to really have a great opportunity now with going into objectives very quickly. While that's going to just leave. I'm assuming it's going to either be. I'm assuming Kennen. Let's just assume Kennen top. He's pretty much not going to be able to catch up in that time. Not going to be able to be there for that team fight if they force an early dragon as soon as possible.
And it's a very good point to make about the teleports. Last game we saw Salmon Humpers actually take the teleport against the Shen because they expected the global pressure. This game TGU didn't actually expect it, so they don't have one of their own, and they're not going to be able to counteract it. Although, if the Malphite does leave his lane, then that Kennen is one that can actually push the turret fairly down quickly because he does build damage into his auto attacks early. Now we are into the loading screen. Once again, intimidation. We will
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
wait for all the little splash arts to appear. So far, it's only 1-for-1. Dark Valkyrie Diana, Dragon Slayer Jarvan the Fourth. Few special barriers here. I see a gold barrier on kill streaking, and a Shamrock Malphite and Arctic Warfare Caitlyn. 2-for-2. But
Yep, two for two.
I'll actually count the holiday limited edition skin as 2. So I'll give it in favor of catfights for just intimidation.
For the skin intimidation.
It,
But
the
Lissandra still not really the new. Actually, is she still the newest champion? I'm trying to
no
think here before I.
Aatrox.
Aatrox is the newest champion. But Lissandra's still a very new champion. I feel like she's brought a great deal of utility. It's played a lot in LCS. Don't see it too much on solo queue because it's a lot about initiating and getting a lot of support from your team when you initiate. But I mean, how do you feel about Lissandra so far? Do you feel like she's a solid champion? Or
Oh yeah, definitely. All the 3 Freljord sisters, they're known for their really engaging ultimates. The Frozen Tomb, I forget what Sejuani's is called, Glacial Prison,
there
as
we
well as
go.
the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, all really there in place to freeze someone and get them stuck in place, get them stunned for a long time, and really just get that engage in for your team. And it's really going to help them because it seems like any one of them could just jump in the middle of the team, even the Sona, a flash crescendo. Captain Skill is looking for any group as soon as he can, flash in there, get out the crescendo, and the rest of his team can follow up. Or even a flag knockout from Jarvan or an unstoppable force. Anyone can engage these fights, except really kill streaking on his Draven.
Yeah. Well, with all, let's see, I'm trying to just think of since that could occur here where Draven would really be having an issue. I mean, obviously Zach jungle, but once we get to the team fight stage, I have a feeling Draven's going to be able to rely on the team to make the engage, and at that point, they're not going to be able to really try to focus Draven too much. They're going to be trying just to make sure that they live. It feels like because they don't really have a lot of real peel because like everything is really initiated heavy. Of course, like all that initiation can turn into a disengage, but it's not really a lot of solid peel.
Yeah, and Caitlyn is one that I can actually stay a little bit away from a fight, even without peel from her teammates. She has a 90 caliber net. If the flash is available, she has that, and along with her long auto attack ranges. So as long as Silver Ninja can be able to position himself relatively well in these fights with the Wombo combo, he can kind of keep a distance from his own team with that as well, and just try not to get caught out by that. However, it's even with all the AoE potential from TG, they're all kind of short range. You have the Diana. Kennen is a little bit longer range because he's known for his long range auto attacks in lane. But Diana, even the Thresh and Zac are all they're all going to be in the fight. They're going to want to be in the fight and not necessarily on the back line staying away from the AoE Wombo combo. So they're actually prime targets for all these really crowd control initiating combos that Catfight is going to be looking for.
I completely agree here. Looking at items, looks like actually Kenning going for Doran's ring, which actually not really the most unstandard thing, but it's definitely not the most common thing you see there. So a little
Doran's
bit of
blade.
Oh yeah, sorry, Doran's blade there. So I don't think. Let me see. Let's look at the masteries here. Don't see any indication of AD or AP currently. So we could see possibly an AD Kennen, but you just don't see those too much. I'm pretty sure since this is a tournament game, they're probably going to stay safe, go with that AP build, but might go to that Doran's just for get some life steals to be able to stay in the lane and that extra help.
Yeah, the Doran's blade on Kennen actually isn't too uncommon. We see most Kennens picking it up just for the auto attack harass in lane. It doesn't let you get a ward at the start, which for a solo laner it's kind of almost mandatory that you have vision for yourself. But it's really just there for the harass, which you actually need against a Malphite. His passive, the Granite Shield, actually keeps him relatively healthy even against harass. But someone like a Kennen, who can actually harass you from range with the Thundering Shurikens and I believe it's Lightning Surge that can actually hit someone already marked from his passive. It's just good harass that can really keep that Malphite down. And that's what he's going for here.
Why, thank you.
Looks like both teams just looking for a relatively defensive setup, both going for their own blue buffs at the start. No one really looking for an invade. Actually, not even really aggressive wards placed. There was the one defensive ward that TG placed at their around their Wraith area in that red buff. It was only the Explorer ward. It was really just to see if any invade was coming out. Captain Skill's actually caught with a death sentence, and then nothing will happen. Nope. I was hoping for something.
Yeah, gotta hope there. But yeah, good job there. At least getting a little bit of damage, showing that he's going to be able to land those hooks there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and this bot lane in particular, these are both AD carries that like to harass quite a bit. And Sona is actually one, even with her sustain, she's very squishy. So if she gets harassed down enough, she's either going to run out of mana, keeping herself healthy, or she's going to stay low and stay within that kill range. Another death sentence, not really meaning anything because it hit a minion. But yeah, Draven is another one of those that, just like Caitlyn, likes to auto-attack harass. But now the Wicked Blaze passive has actually been changed to the League of Draven.
Yeah, look up top now, heavy engage on the Kennen now. J4 doing a lot of damage. Kennen trying to run away now. Might already popped his flash, I believe. And come back in the lane. Actually did not pop his flash, that was misinformed. So
yeah, that was just a quick lightning rush away from that gang. Red buff slow was on him. Silver Ninja actually taking the half health for a couple of auto attacks from Draven. Spinning Axe doing quite a lot of damage even without that bleed passive.
Looks like J4 looking to potentially get another engage here on this Diana. Diana, assuming that could be there, playing pretty safe. J4 trying his knock up there. Did a good job there. Gonna run back. But again, just a little poke in there, just trying to show that he's present in the game. But now
I was waiting for that snare to come out from Foxy Alplum, but he actually did not level his W yet. The Ring of Frost wasn't available for that engage. I guess he didn't expect to get a gank from his jungler that early on, so he didn't bother leveling it. Although I don't really agree with not leveling the W by level 4, it's not really something you're going to need in lane until you're going to fight. Right now, pre-level 6, he's looking just for a little harass until he can get that level 6 combo with his jungler. He's actually pretty close to level 5 now, so that should be coming in really soon. Hopefully he will get the Ring of Frost in there. Zach kind of hovering around this bot lane looking for a gank, but he's staying on top of the ward. So nothing really going to come from that catfights aren't prepared for.
Yeah, but thinking, I don't even know if he was seen though. Like, if we look at the Shadow.
He wasn't the tri-bush. He was in the tri-bush,
okay.
So he was spotted. Again, Foxy Apple looking for an engage here mid, but TG Crypture is quite backed off. Actually, we're seeing Dart in the top lane taking harass from the Malphite. Not something we expected. We expected Kennen to be out harassing Disparity in lane. So,
we got a big fight coming down here. Might be first blood now. Thresh brought down really low. Gonna get that first blood on Draven. Now they're on the chase now, trying to see if they maybe get a double kill off Caitlyn, but Caitlyn gonna be able to run away from there. So great job by them. What happened is Thresh threw his lantern over here by the tri-bush. That let Zach click on it, and then he got his hard engage onto them. So good job by them. Good coordination.
Yeah, and a good way to turn it around there for catfights. They actually managed the damage more towards Captain Skittles. Now, again, Dark getting very low on that top lane. He might even go down to the red buff. Flash hit from Jarvan will take him down. And I can actually call him Jarvan because Jarvan is his summoner name.
Okay, so I'm horrible. Catfight. What's their full name again?
I'm just calling him Catfights because the name is great. It's like Catfights in slow motion classic or something like that. Pretty long name. Catfights.
Well, Catfight putting a little pressure on this bottom turret now, just chunking it down a little bit here. If they can get that turret, it would kind of lose them a little bit of pressure because obviously they don't want to extend too far into enemy lines. At the same time, it'll free it up where in case they do want to do Baron, they can be more into the jungle hill and hopefully get ganked before they want to do Dragon.
Now we're seeing about the hook land on killstreaking, and absolutely nothing will happen again.
Yeah, he's doing a good job with landing his death sentences. It's just not a lot. I mean, just not a lot of opportunity. Like Caitlyn's just always slightly out of range. Can't get that auto attack in that she wants to. It seems like.
Yeah, and one thing we're noticing here, it's about a 2,000 gold lead. Now Jarvan again getting engaged in mid lane on the Scripture.
Yep. And kill goes to Jarvan there. Great job.
Yeah, Frozen Tomb just landed there right one after another. The Cataclysm on top of that. Actually, not even Cataclysm. I'm wrong. It's not even. Jarvan isn't even level 6 yet. I'm thinking ahead of myself here. It was the Ring of Frost into the Frozen Tomb. It just melted Crypture there. And I want to go back to this gold disparity here. It's now almost 3,000 between the teams. 0-3 in kills. No turrets, no dragons gone down yet, but it is a huge gold lead. And it's not just from the kills. Catfights has been able to zone out their enemy in every lane right now. There's actually almost a 30 CS lead for the Malphite over a Cannon, which is very surprising. Mid lane, about a 20 CS lead for Lissandra over Diana. Actually not too surprising for the ranged melee matchup, but it's a little bigger than we expected. Bot lane, about a 20 CS lead between Draven and Caitlyn as well. Killstreaking hasn't quite gone back yet. Death Sentence lands on him though.
Oh, yep, and fine, they try to do something there with that. Sona's ult comes out, Crescendo, and then J4's Cataclysm comes down, finishes off. But there, Caitlyn still in lane. Might decide to back off of this, but Zach's gonna stay here to reinforce in case Jarvan decided to come around and play a little more.
Yeah, Frey wasn't quite in the range to counter gank there. It looks like he will follow Jarvan around towards the mid though, so it will be a 2v2 if something breaks out there. He has been spotted. Jarvan actually just going around to help with the minions and walk back to his own red buff. But yes, that actually the Sona ultimate, the Crescendo only caught out Death Knight there. It didn't actually, no, I'm wrong. It only caught out Ninja Shadow. He was on the very edge of it. Death Knight actually sidestepped the Crescendo just barely. Captain Skills expected it to hit both of them, but it just missed. And it ended up being a Cataclysm right on top of that Thresh that almost brought him down. Killstreaking actually showing off the new Draven passive. He is 2-0. Able to cash in that gold. He hasn't even gone back yet. He's sitting on 3.2 thousand gold, and it looks like he will finally back to buy something with it. Should actually be a Bloodthirster from nothing if he decides to do that.
Yeah, and that would be devastating coming in the lane too. Just a whole lot of damage and a whole lot of sustain. It's gonna pretty much force the jungle to come down here to try to drop him off, because the last thing you need is an ADC getting super fed.
Yeah, and this is what happens with the new Draven passive. He will actually not go for the entire Bloodthirster yet, opting for instead Berserker's Greaves along with the components for the Bloodthirster. Now in this top lane, actually Dark taken low again, just from his Malphite. I'm just still surprised at this matchup. Now Jarvan is looking for a gank. He does have the Cataclysm almost available. Crypture going in on Alpum in the mid. Nothing coming of that quite yet. But now we still have Jarvan sitting around this top lane. He wants to go in on this low health Kennen. Cataclysm is up in a couple seconds. He should be going in.
Yeah, and on top of Force is in now. So picking as I knock out, here comes the top Force.
And that Kennen got melted. Not sure we expected anything less. The double ultimate. Actually, only the Unstoppable Force was used. Cataclysm was saved. And that was a pretty free kill there. Looks like Disparity has just been playing this lane matchup very well. We didn't expect him at all to be able to be harassed out of lane like he, or harassing Ken like he has been. Off the Alpha actually juking Crypture in, and now the Cataclysm goes down. Crypture having to flash out of that ultimate. He might be able to get away here, and he just does dodge. Not going down.
Banner comes down. Oh, actually, Banner just goes down a little bit too late there. Pull down. This came off pull down.
Yeah, that Diana there survived with just a little over 100 health. The health potion was ticking through the ignite. It just barely kept him alive here. It's like Jarvan and Foxy looking to either gank on this bottom lane or go for a dragon relatively soon. This will be a 2v4 in the bot lane though. They are going right through that jungle. Turret going down now. First turret of the game in favor of Catfights. 5k gold lead.
Jarvan and Lissandra here doing a little bit of poke onto Zach. Zach's forced to back off. So here comes Diana though, but they see that coming, have that ward in that bush. But yeah, now she's gonna back off. Doesn't want to get too far ahead. Doesn't want to do anything too risky.
Yeah, in that bot lane, both ultimates used from catfights just to pick up that one kill. I believe it was actually an auto attack from the Sona that finished off that kill, even though the Whirling Death had already come out. And it would have actually been a kill for kill streaking if that auto attack wasn't used. Relatively quick kill on another one onto Death Knight's Thresh. 0-3 now. His AD carry is actually keeping that CS lead about where it is at 20 or a little less. And despite the kills, he's actually trying to keep that Goldie where it is, even with the kills in place.
Yep.
So I think he's managed to. It's not quite as good right now just because of the kills that are there for that Draven. Now it looks like Malphite looking to invade blue buff.
Yeah, looking like it. He knows that respawn timer should be coming up here any second now. Ooh, actually they get a hard engage onto Diana now. All three are actually 4 members of purple team off of Catfight now. Ooh, barely missed his death sentence there. Could have maybe done something if that landed. But instead it looks like they're going to go for Dragon now.
Yeah, that should be a relatively free Dragon. They're pretty far ahead now, and TG doesn't really want to contest it at this point. Goldie is 6k, but if they get the Dragon, it's just going to keep snowballing. Draven, especially with the new passive, is just known for snowballing. Even more than it used to be before. And TG is starting to lose control of this game. It's 0-7. It's only 0-1 in turrets, but that's probably going to change very shortly here. Foray goes in on Disparity in the mid lane.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, it's 13.5 minutes in now. It's a 7k gold lead, and they have a tower, so they're going to be able to put a lot of pressure on the bot lane, even more than what they were before. So it's going to leave that much more room for ganks. And I don't know, I mean, if TGU is going to have a chance of coming back in this one, they're going to really have to start crawling and hope that some mess-ups are going to come up from Catfight here.
Yeah, and one thing that Catfights actually might look to do, if they don't want to start grouping and pushing down towers, they can actually keep the lane phase where it is right now. No turrets have gone down yet. They just want to snowball what they have. And actually, I believe they scale harder into the late game than TG does. They have the Draven in there, and as long as he can keep his passive going, as long as he can get kills, he's going to start snowballing even farther ahead of Caitlyn than he already is. He's actually gotten a little bit more of a CS lead now. TG Dark actually going on Disparity in top lane. Disparity might drop to the 3-man gank, but using Unstoppable Force to get out. Flash, I believe, he still has it along with the teleport, and just the Unstoppable Force used to get out. Pretty safe.
Yeah, I mean, nice disengage there. Definitely use his ult to get disengage that, so he won't have that that ganking power for a little bit. But he's doing such a good job against this cannon. I'm sure he's really not all that worried about not having his ult currently.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad for Ray right now because all of his laners, they've just been giving over so many kills. He hasn't been able to really turn around any gank right now. And we haven't actually touched on this yet, but especially after that Unstoppable Force is just used, I kind of have to mention it. A lot of Catfights really have disengage tools available to them. You have the Glacial Path, and even though it is an ultimate, the Unstoppable Force is really kind of a get out of jail free card if he ends up getting low. It can't be stopped, of course. It is Unstoppable Force. And he can get out pretty free even if he gets locked down. And it's... And meanwhile, Foray is just going between the lanes. He's looking to turn ganks around, even multi-man ganks on some of these other enemy laners, but nothing has come from it. They still have no kills on the board. It's still 0-7. They're still... it's almost 8,000 gold now that they're down, actually. Farm's still going extremely in favor of Catfights. They have the Dragon, they have the one turret, and I don't expect it to stay the one turret for very long because they have so much just presence on the map right now. Again, Moxie dodging up the distance, but now Jarvan comes around.
Yep. I mean, they're doing what they can here, trying to get opportunities that become available, but it just seems that Catfight's really being able to just back up members when they realize that they have potential of getting in trouble now. They always be coming in and saving their teammates, so a lot of communication, a lot of moving around, really working as a team really nicely. Ooh, that's when it comes on to Lissandra. They didn't really need to use that, I guess. I thought they were going to try to capitalize on that, but probably realizing that she was just getting out there and decide not to engage on it too hard.
And Death Knight's just looking for anything he can get right now. Now it looks like we have Dark going down to the bot lane. and getting spotted up by a ward. He will not be able to get any engage on that. But the entire of Catfights is in this bottom jungle. They want to force the fight. They want to catch someone in transit and just either push down the turret or kill Death Knight right now.
Yeah, Death Knight is brought down really low. J4 uses Banner, then his Dragon Strike there to really close the gap there and get over that wall. Meanwhile, Elise was right on the other side, and not Elise. Lissandra comes in, but the fight is still going on here. It looks like Kennen trying to do what he can to stop this Jarvan up top there, gets the kill onto Zach. But Draven comes down here, gets that kill onto Caitlyn. So now it's just Dark here in this bot lane trying to hold off. Cryptor's coming down now, seeing what he can do to really stop the 4 members of TGU here, but as soon as it's going to be 5, I'm sure Lissandra's going to be coming down here also and put a lot of pressure onto this turret, and I don't think there's a way they can hold this off.
Yeah, there really isn't any way they can hold it off right now. It's only, right now it's 3v5 at the turret. Actually, this is the only lane that turrets are down in. All 3 turrets now down to the inhibitor, and the inhibitor itself is not going to go down. They're going to disengage. Catfights will return here later just to pick that up. But it's a huge gold lead right now. It's actually over 11,000 after all that. That fight was kind of long and a little spread out. A bunch of ultimates used. The Demacian Standard actually got the first kill on the Death Knight there. Then it went down to Foray, popped the passive, and eventually was finished off there. And meanwhile, actually Ninja Shadow was taken down in the bot lane to the Draven. Just a quick auto attack, stand aside, auto attack. Was able to finish him off there relatively easily. Just, that's a really fed Draven right now. He has the Bloodthirster in there, Bam Dancer, to really just a Vamp Scepter and a BF Sword on the Caitlyn. There's no way that Caitlyn can match his damage right now, and it's just the Draven going all crazy on whoever he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, he has 3 kills now and almost a 50 CS lead now of this Caitlyn. So let's look at the gold earned real quick. We see that Caitlyn's earned 4.5k. Meanwhile, Draven's earned almost 8k. So that just lets you know how much Draven's really dominating this game so far.
Yeah, we don't even need to see the numbers. You don't. We can just tell by the items. The numbers are great, but the items are already telling us how far they are ahead. There's really no one completed item on the side of TG. TG right now. Dragon just spawned, so it looks like Catfights will want to make that quick work of that dragon. Draven should be able to melt it fairly quickly, and even Zach is backing off now. They don't really want to contest the 11k gold lead. 19,000 to 30,000. That's over a 50% gold lead right now. I really don't want to say it's hopeless for TG, but I don't really know what else I can say.
Yeah, I mean, they're really having a rough time this game. I mean, the only thing they can do, I feel like, is just hope that they're going to get cocky, and one member of Catfight's going to constantly be getting caught in the jungle here, but the chances of that, I feel, are very slim.
Yeah, and one thing that Catfights have actually been doing is that they've kept up their ward pressure fairly well. They're not exactly clearing wards. As you can see, there's actually at least 6 wards on the map now for TG. But they don't have vision dominance, but where they have been forcing objectives, they've kept vision. They just got the dragon. They might actually want to return to this bot lane, get the exposed inhibitor relatively soon. But they're not really grouping anymore right now. They're kind of spread out. They still have the Draven still in towards this bot lane, but as long as they stay in that area, the inhibitor might eventually go down, but they can't really bank on that until they have all the members down there. Now, actually, it looks like they'll push down this mid turret. It's down to about a quarter health right now. Foxy actually pulling turret aggro with Glacial Path. And taking down to about 2/3 health, but the turret will go down eventually. That is the 4th turret now for none. 14k gold lead. Huge advantage. Again, I don't want to sound hopeless, but the advantage is just so huge for Catfights right now. It's their game to throw.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have such a hard engage that their Draven is just so far ahead now, does so much damage that, like, this is exactly what they were hoping for coming into this. It's exactly what they needed. Not needed, but it's what they wanted coming into this. It's just all going in their favor right now. Pretty much playing this flawless.
And that was basically everything right there that TG had to throw at them. All the ultimates used, except really Ace in the Hole. Only Silver Ninja Shadow actually left to defend against this exposed inhibitor. should go down. That was a 4-for-1 fight. It's still 0-15 kills. They're not even bothering to push the minion wave, and they just want this inhibitor gone as quickly as possible. And look at that damage that he's not putting down to Jarvan. It's just the Bloodthirst. There's no Infinity Edge. There's no extra crits. There's really nothing in there. And he's actually getting outdueled by his Sona.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard game. He's actually trying to go in here. Just trying to see if they can make something turn around him. Oh, the forfeit comes out. Good job for Catfight there. Sorry, TGU. Y'all did a good run. Hopefully, next game y'all have better luck.
Yeah, they're not knocked out of the tournament. It is double elimination, so they do go down to the losers bracket. They will have their chance to come back in, hopefully.